Welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Recently got this piano in. It's made just outside the street. And it's a
Just outside the street?
I mean, it's just on the other side of the next building. They're making these pianos. And they sound very beautiful. Then this room is adaptable, so it's we have the panels. We can roll these around to make small little rooms for musicians. That has been very, very handy so far. And as you see, all the microphones are working. You are now seeing the 2.0 setup, because the first setup had some flaws. And if it's one thing I can recommend, I already knew it myself. I knew that this is a thing that you should live by, but I never live by my own rules, and then I need to eat shit. Okay, then I need to eat that up. So what happened was that never think you will have the ultimate setup in mind and spend days and days and days of doing that one. Keep some things loose in the ends, because you will change things. You will move things around. You will definitely change stuff all the time. And I did that. So just now I spent 2 days of just reorganizing everything because it was not as it should. In here, all of the 32 channels from the live room is ending up through the wall here and all to these beautiful, beautiful cables into the Patchbay and to all of these nice preamps. So we have, I mean, there's 6 channels of Neve style preamps and also Neve style with the EQs, but that's in the desk rack. This is the Chandler TG2, gets used a lot on everything with a lot of bass. It's very nice on bass. 8 channels of API style preamps, this is the warm audio stuff. I have changed all of the op amps, not all of them, there's like 2 very fast ones, 2 original, and 4 that's somehow Neve style op amps in an API preamp. Anyway, then we have the Millennia. This is loaned from a friend. Same guy who builds the pianos. And this, I have always been thinking that I am a 100% transformer guy. Every preamp needs to have transformers. This doesn't have that, and I got talked into trying them, and I'm now trying them, and I can say they sound amazing and very, very, very shiny and nice top end. Here's the tape area and tape and spring area, I guess. So this we just got in. This is the Pioneer, yeah, like a 70s spring reverb that was used for mainly like hi-fi systems, and it made hi-fi systems sounds super bad. Like no one liked them, I think. Then they look super funky with this little thingy. There's like a rolling plastic thing inside. Every time I see IAR samples of this one, it says Adele's reverb. So she uses it. Mark Ronson uses this.
The British people.
The British people, yeah, the British people. It sounds super, super gritty, and it's very short, actually, spring reverb. Anyway, then we have this modified cassette deck where you can change speed with light and stuff. I have a video about that. Then the regular space echo, most people know maybe what this is. This has a very annoying thing. You can put the cable in, it just comes back at you. So that needs to be fixed maybe today. There's also spring reverb in there. And here's the Revox. The B77 MK2. This one has the 15 IPS speed. Here's the Patchbay that we talked about. Here is the heart of the setup. It's the Orion 32 Plus Generation 4. I love it so far. There's a video coming up on maybe a little longer review on how I like it with the drivers and all of that. Here is something else I got talked into trying. I didn't think I will ever become a analog summing guy, but now I've heard it and I can't unhear it. So now I need analog summing on everything. Sounds very nice. It also has a widening knob. Here's some kind of bucket brigade delay. We can go to the desk. Let's go to the desk. Everything here is the stuff I need to have fast access to. Everything I use heavily, and it's then the Neve style preamps with the EQs. I used the mid bands on these a lot. Then we have the Pultec clone, or like the Pultec style EQ from Tegler Audio, EQP1. Changed the tubes to Mullard tubes. Sounds very, very sweet in the top end. Then we have, it's the Stam Audio SA609 Plus. It's a recreation of the Neve 33609. And this one has 4 different revisions. There's an actual relay changing stuff inside, so it's not only, yeah. So that's good. And here, here's the MIDI heart. I got sold on this by my friend Bauke Top, because it's so good layout. You use like MIDI ins and you can just press there and you want that to go to this MIDI out and it goes to that synth. So it's very good overview for the things. This Patchbay, all the synths here, we can check that later, but all the synths ends up here. This is probably my most used type of gear or piece of gear. It's the Chandler RS124. It's basically the sound of all Beatles songs there is. Like everything Beatles recorded, every track ended up like in this thingy, and got printed again, and then they recorded over it, and then they ended up in this one. So like on almost all Beatles songs, you hear this maybe times 20 or something. So it has that sound. So that's nice. For every vocal I record, I always use this one. It's very, very sweet sounding. Never has this pumpy feel that some compressors can have. These two, they're my very, very heavily modified LA2A clones. The tubes are changed. There's Mullard styled and RCA tubes. The transformers are changed. It's solder transformers. Then I also installed these stepped gain for mastering capabilities. It also has these output attenuators, so you can put them like that and then crank the gain. You get the distortion box out of these. This I just changed, but these the Audios are the vibe speakers, the speakers that are, stuff sounds very pleasing and I love working on them, and I also have the sub here for them. However, my good friend Lawrence talked me into trying these, and yeah, it's very, very nice to have a pair of quite direct and somewhat dry and boring sound, because it kind of forces me to go from A to B, a quite maybe boring way from A to B, but it's a straight way from A to B. These takes me to very many directions, all of them very nice, but sometimes maybe not where I need to go. And so far these have been very helpful, especially with transients. Like I go through a whole drum track and working on these, and I just hear every single hit. I can know exactly how they should hit with these, and then I switch over to these, and it sounds even better on these when I go back to them. So I didn't think I needed double monitors, but it has been very great so far. So yeah, here's the instrument corner, the synth corner that I'm using the most, like some Mellotron. There's a Digitact, and that's a new edition, the Matriarch. Very fun machine. The Prophet, the one I use probably the most. This Isla Instruments S2400 I use a lot also. I actually started using it in mixing just anything that is maybe too dark or too muddy or something, or like something that shouldn't have distortion but needs to be more popping out in the mix. Then I'll sometimes put it in this one and resample it and like record it back, and just the added aliasing from these like vintage converters is actually very pleasing. This one is so fun. Super cheap 90s rack, half rack synth. It has all the crazy sound design from the crazy 90s sound designers, and it sounds ridiculous. Jesus, what a sound! Here's the TO5, very nice sound design capabilities. I have almost no access to the knobs because I only use the presets. It's nice. A little weak in the output section, that's all. Here's the 80s Casio synth. This is the Casio's version of the DX7, I guess, their take on FM synthesis. There's not that much more fun here. It's just like, you know, pedals and cables and yeah, pedals and stuff. Is it Riga Balsam? It's a Latvian liquor. Yeah, I can just quickly say that this wall is completely covered in, I mean, about 30 centimeters rock wool, and then it's 30 centimeter absorption, and then maybe 30 or even 50 centimeters extra behind it as an air gap. Then we have the ceiling clouds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 or something of them. Almost all of the microphones are out in use now, but this is my microphone place. It's all of my favorite microphones, but yeah, as I say, almost all of them are out there. Yeah, just some microphones, microphone accessories. Here are some extras. Yeah, I love these. These are my favorite go-to microphones for stuff. Here's the very old school piano. This feels somehow very strange after playing Duna Corda with this amount of keys. 100-year-old, sounds very nice. Super much character in the mid-range. This is the drum kit that kind of sparked everything, because I was working from home as a producer, mix engineer, and when moving to this city we're in, Kuldiga in Latvia, I just figured I want to start playing drums and I want to get a Ludwig vintage drum kit. And I found this kit in a shop in Stockholm called Hellstone. It's a very, very nice sounding kit. Over here, we have the rolling panels. You can make drums very dry and sometimes even put a little roof on top. Here we have a lot of drum stuff, a lot of different snares, different cymbals, different drum heads, some microphones. These two. This is basically the Beatles sound on drums. This on kick, this on overhead. Also something on the snare. Ringo never used the snare mic, always under snare only. And they used some Neumann tube pencil mic, I think, for the later parts. But yeah, this is This is the kick drum mic. So I have 3 different multis that just comes from the wall there. Everything is labeled, so we have 32 channels coming in. We can be flexible, roll it wherever we need. This is my offloading table. It was not meant to be like that, but I realized that especially microphones has almost never, since we started taking bookings and stuff, has never been in the microphone place. They're always either on a stand or just offloaded here for a bit. That's how it is. Not the most beautiful setup, but it's very functional. This is also so useful. You know, this is for use in shops and stuff, for labeling. You just put it to remember what channel you used or something and just write on it. I can write my name or something also there, in case I forget it. And I think this is basically life consumption in a roll there. This is the D12E, a little bit more 100 Hertz, a little bit less low thump. While we're on the D12 journey, this is my favorite D12. Some of you that has been following the channel are probably tired of hearing it, but there is some chance that this has been used by Ringo. Can't say for certain, but there is some chance.
Do you want to say why?
The guy I bought it from says that he bought it from Abbey Road, and this is a microphone that's made in the 50s. It kind of makes sense that it could have been used, because that's the only mic they used on the kick drums with Beatles. This is my go-to microphone for vocals. Sometimes I like to record vocals with dynamic microphones, but my go-to is this one. I mean, it's on now, so... Hello there, hello, hello, hello. No, but it's a replica of a U47 Neumann microphone. It's made by Golden Age Premier. I have also had the warm audio version of this. This one is way nicer. And yeah, everyone seems to like the sound of it that I record. And I do too. I can do this maybe. Yeah, and it's tape here. I'm sorry, guys. Just when we were finished the studio, I have been making these videos throughout the whole process. But when we were finished, I got so much work all of a sudden, and I'm very happy for it. Both recordings and mixing jobs. So like, I just didn't have time to make this closure video. So this is basically the final update of the studio. And it's up and running, and it's going well. The interest is high, even though we are in the middle of nowhere in Latvia. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Do you want to say something, Lester? Hallen.live on Instagram. I don't know if there's a possible to do link, but yeah, link. Thank you all for watching.